Never thought that we'd go this far. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? So that I'm counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make those shades, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around to start the top of yours. It's all you need to do. Don't stop now. Reaching for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? So that I'm counting days until the second go. If you're gonna make those shades, you have to let me know. Turn the shit around to start the top of yours. It's all you need to do. for a distant star. Don't stop now. Isn't it strange how we're safe and home? To the counting days until the second glow. If you're gonna make a change, you have to let me know. Turn this shit around, start it up the notes. It's all you need to do.
What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV here, back here for a pre-match fan show, and it feels like ages since we've done this, since we've got callers on. I've missed hearing your opinions. I've missed getting you on, having chats with you about Spurs. We've got John Cooper in the office. Sim is still not here. Sim is still not here.
Come on. Get the lem sips down, you. Whiskey and honey, mate.
You know what I mean? But look, it's a big game this weekend. Conte's second Premier League game. How are we feeling going into it?
Positive. Feel-good factors back a little bit, you'd have to say. The Everton game wasn't great, but I'm starting to see it seems that there's a plan in place, at least.
Yeah.
And I think this is the perfect game to spark the renaissance, if you like.
Yeah.
And I can't see anything other than 3 points.
Oh, that's dangerous.
Cool, I've said it
dangerous.
there. Kiss of death.
That's dangerous.
Famous last words.
All right, so the way we're going to structure this video, as always, we're going to go through Antonio Conte's press conference and hear every word he had to say on the upcoming game this weekend. And then it is your chance to have your say on the game this weekend. The link is in the community section. It's open to everyone, not just members, so everyone can come on and have their say. So if you fancy coming on and having a chat with us, go to the community section and click that link and come on and join us. We've already got a few people in the back, and Cody Mack and Brian Daigle.
Cody Mack's got a surprise for everyone as well.
Ready to speak to us. We've got a super chat here from Raymond saying, buzzing to coming to the Leeds game, first game since COVID from the USA. All right, well, let's get into Brian Daigle's press conference. Let's get in.
I'm sure he could come up with one, couldn't he?
Let's get into Conte's press conference.
Come stai?
Bene, grazie.
How happy are you with what you've been able to do over the last couple of weeks with the players who did stay behind? And how impressed have you been with the form of the international players who went away? Lots of goals scored by them. Obviously, the ketchup and mayonnaise ban is working already for those players.
No, I think that we were very focused on to work on the pitch, but for sure when you arrive in a new club and you try to be focused and in the situation that you think are the more important. And I think in this moment, the situation that we have to improve is on the pitch. and tactically, physically, also mentally, and we work very well in these 2 weeks during the international break. We work well with the players who we had with us, and a good work, and it was an intensive work under many aspects, and but also with the players that they come back from the international break. We have started yesterday to work with only one part of the players. Today, I think we'll have all the players.
Okay. Ian Abrahams, please.
Hi, Antonio. First of all, outside of my one question, do you have team news?
Team news. We have a bad news about Christian Romero because he's injured, and I spoke with the doctors, and now it's right to wait 7 days, 10 days to have another scan to understand the time he needs to recover. Also, Giovanni Lo Celso didn't come back in perfect physically, and I don't know about him if he's available. Giovanni, for sure, Romero is not available, and then the rest of the team, we have all the players.
And Harry Kane has scored 7 goals in 2 games. Okay, not against great opposition, but still 7 goals. So his confidence will be high. How much are you hoping now that Harry Kane's season starts on Sunday for Tottenham, and these goals make sure that he can kick on and be confident for Tottenham Hotspur?
Harry scored 7 goals, and to score is never easy. Never. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy for the national team, because in this way England now is ready to play the World Cup in Qatar, and it's a good achievement. And you have seen Italy, and we are forced to have the playoff. And I'm happy for Harry because he scored and he breaks record with England. We are talking about a world-class striker. He's an important player for us with great talent, great quality. For sure, to score is a boost for him, and I'm very happy because I had the possibility to know him much more, and I understood that he's a top player, and in many aspects he wants to train very, very hard. He wants to improve, and this is fantastic for me, because my first task is to try to improve the players, to bring my players in another level, another step. And I think in this team many players can do this.
Thank you. Thanks, Ian. We'll go to Jake Robson on Zoom, please.
Good morning, Antonio. Hello.
Good morning. Hi.
You spoke yesterday or the day before about a sense of wanting everyone at the club to have a sense of belonging. You mentioned the chefs, all the staff there. You've only been at the club a few weeks, so how long will it take you to feel that sense of belonging?
After only 2-3 weeks, and it's not simple, it's not easy to understand all the environment in Tottenham, but for sure I have a positive sensation, a positive feeling, because I'm seeing people that work here, not only the players but also all the people that work here in Tottenham, that they are totally involved in Tottenham project, I think this must be very important because also what happen around of the pitch and can bring points, can add points on the table. And in my managerial career, I think that to involve all the people and to give them the right importance is the right way. Is the right way because every single person that works in Tottenham has to feel that is an important person. That for me, the sense of belonging is this, and you work not only to arrive at the end of the month for the salary. You must be involved with your heart, with your passion. I think this is the right way to improve the sense of belongings, and then to transfer this also to our supporters, also to our players during the game.
Okay, we'll stay on Zoom, and Simon Stone, please.
Hi, Antonio. Your
Hey.
first game, your team attacked very well, didn't defend so well. Your second game, team defended well.
So you had a few comments to make. What are you feeling about what you've seen so far?
I've just realised Giovanni Lo Celso is pronounced Giovanni Lo Celso.
In Italian, yeah.
No, I really liked the thing that really stood out for me is about how he wants everyone at the club to see it as their passion and have heart with what they do, not just picking up their salary. He says that it's important to get the points on the table, that everyone pulls together, that works there. And I think that that is so important. You might not have heard that from other managers. I know when Poch came in, he talked about, there needs to be a kind of change in psychology amongst the whole, even on an institutional level with the whole club, So that's really good, because he could just come in and be like one of those contract managers that comes in, just does his job, keeps his head down, does what's asked of him. But he's really trying to get to the nucleus of it, isn't he? And I really like that. And I think that is really important. That's really good to hear him say that as well.
Yeah, and it's exactly what we've needed to get all the players back on side pretty much, because since, when we had Pochettino as Pomp, that's exactly what we had, and that's what made us so strong. We had a cohesive unit.
Yeah.
Everyone was pulling in the same direction together. And since Pochettino left, or even before Pochettino left, you've had some players want to go this way, some players want to go this way.
Yeah.
Not all of them are cohesive unit together. Some players wanting to leave, you know what I mean? And then it just got drifting away from that under Jose Mourinho, under Nuno. Now let's hope Conte can get them all back on side.
And also Poch would, he got rid of the mercenaries. He got rid of the players that he felt were the rotten apples, the bad apples. And I think that had an immediate effect, actually, I do.
It did.
As much as I loved like Lennon and, I think Cabal was, a great defender. But I think if there's a couple players that just show a little bit too much laziness, it can affect the whole mood, can't it? And the belief and the kind of the determination of the whole squad. So if he's going to come in, and I think we're going to touch on Ndombele, are we? I mean, we could mention that maybe a bit later on, see what he says. But Ndombele's one that could be one that does have that negative impact on the rest of the players because of his effort and determination. But if you can get him on song and actually, make something of him, then that will have a positive ripple effect on the other players, won't it?
Completely agree. Can't agree more.
So I'm liking what I'm hearing from him at the moment.
Just before we get back into the press conference, got a super chat from Dark Sunji 21 saying Winks, Davies and the likes must be shaking after Conte's comments about playing for the badge and not playing for a bit to get paid for their pay packet. I mean, I've never thought Davies was one of these mercenaries.
No, he's not.
But I think Winks has definitely been under that category of not really playing for the badge at times. He's come into the manager's office and talked about getting into the England side before getting into the Spurs side and stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe he just got too comfortable, Winks, He just had it all too much his own way. Maybe he believed his own hype a little bit too much.
That's definitely true.
And I don't think he's become a terrible player. He just needs to pull himself up a little bit. He just needed a bit of a shake-up.
Well, let's see if this is the right man to give it to him. But let's keep going with the press conference.
Attack so well. I guess getting the balance is right, but which is the key element, attack or defence?
But yeah, you are right. First of all, you're right. But for sure, a team that want to try to do something important during the season have to find the right balance. Have to find the right balance, and too offensively is not good. Too defensively is not good. The right balance is make your team stable, make your team ready to have a good results, and to have good results for a long time, not for only one game, and to have ups and down, ups and down. Ups and down is not good if you want to reach, if you have a target in your club. For sure, two games, and honestly, I didn't work so much with my players before these two games, but our first game was a vital game to continue in conference league, and we won a game that previously we lost. And then against Everton, I think a good game under the personality aspect, the character, the will, the desire to have a good game against a strong opponent. Now, for sure, we have to improve with the work, to improve my idea, and my idea has to go into the mind of my players, offensively and defensively, to arrive in a club during in the middle of the season is never easy. Honestly, I don't like to do this, but the opportunity to be the coach, Tottenham coach, I think that has changed a bit my plan, and I can tell you that now I'm happy. But we need a bit of time. We are working very hard to improve this process in less time possible. But for sure, we need a bit of time and a bit of patience. But I'm happy. I'm happy because I'm seeing great availability from the players, and this is very important to reduce the time to understand the idea.
Thanks, Simon. Back of the room, Jerry Cox, please.
Morning, Antonio.
Yeah.
Have you had a chance to speak to more of the players on a one-to-one basis individually, and what sort of response have you got from them so far?
Yeah, and it happened, and to especially when you arrive, in a new club, and to speak all the players, and then you try to take a moment to have also one-on-one with the players, to know the players in every aspect, not only in football aspect. I think is good, and they have to know me, and I have to know them. I have found players with a great will to work, with a great will to improve, to try to do something special for this club, and I'm the first person to know that we need a bit of time, because this team is a young team, but in one end, and maybe we don't have the right experience, and this is not good. But in other end, we have players very young that if you work, we can improve all together, and I think this is good for me, for the club, for the players.
Charlie Eccleshare, please.
Morning, Antonio.
Morning.
Just wondered, Oliver Skipp, who made a very positive impression, is suspended for the weekend. How does that change the balance of the midfield?
Yep, I have in this moment I have two possibility, because Skippy was he can play, was banned for one game, and in the previous games we played with Skippy and Hobbier, and also I have to see today. I hope today to have Hobby with the team, because Hobby also was injured, and last week he didn't work. And then there is one between Winky and Dombele, Tanguy, and yeah. Not many choices, but we had to go. Yeah.
And last one in this section, Alistair Gold, please.
Hi there, Antonio.
Okay.
I was actually going to ask you about Tanguy. You've obviously had this 2 weeks to work with him more closely. He's a player who's very talented, but maybe hasn't fulfilled his potential at Tottenham yet. How do you make him reach that potential? And also, where do you see as his best position on the pitch? Because he's been used as a number 6, an 8, a 10, everywhere.
Yeah, I have seen that many managers struggle, about this situation, about the position, and for sure Tanguy has the quality, but at the same time he has to understand that there is a team, and he has to play into the team, and I think it means that it's important to keep order and to do what the position asks you to do. And for sure, with Tanguy, we are working very hard. I think he has to work much more than the other, because as you said, he has talent, but he has to put this talent into the team for the best of the team, not for the single player. Understand? And in my football, I have an idea, and in this idea, and there are tasks for the players. Every single player has to know what he has to do, and otherwise, if every single player go and run around the pitch, and I think could be a mess.
Okay, so we'll end the broadcast section there and move on to the embargoed section for 10:30.
All right, so that is the press conference. First of all, I want to say that that's going to be my new name for Harry Winks. He called him Winky.
Did he?
That was brilliant.
Did he? That's fantastic.
I think that's going to be my new name for Harry
That's
Winks.
going to stay now.
Winky. But on the very interesting comments on Ndombele, what do you think he means when he says that he needs to work much harder than all the other players?
Well, exactly that. I think he sometimes, when he plays, he can. I don't know. Sometimes it looks like he's just playing for himself. Sometimes I do get that feeling a little bit. And what he's saying is no player is bigger than the
individualism.
team. They've got to be. It's not like the fish is too big for the pond. He's got to fit himself into this team, and he's got to know his position. He can't just drift around and get into the position that he wants to. He has to know where he fits into the bigger picture. And I actually thought last season I actually thought he was good last season. Actually, I think Mourinho did a good job with him. Actually, but he kind of dips in and out, doesn't he? Of determination, belief, and also kind of that feeling of like being a team player. Sometimes it kind of like it's like peaks and troughs with him. Sometimes you see him and he looks as though he's not really interested in mucking in or like helping the whole team. It just seems like he's playing for himself a little bit sometimes. But other times you see him and he looks like the best player on the pitch. So I think what he's saying there is it's a work in progress, and he says we're working very hard with him, which says to me that he's not going to start, which is why we did the predictive in the prediction of the lineup.
Don't give any spoilers away, John.
Oh, sorry, have we not putting that out yet?
Don't put spoilers.
Oh, sorry. But what do you think? I mean, what do you take from that?
Yeah, exactly what you said. I mean, sometimes he's just like drifting around the pitch and not like structurally good, but he's like good on the ball and good, but sometimes structurally and off the ball, he can be found left wanting. And even times last season when he was in his good moments and he was in that double pivot with Højbjerg, I felt like our midfield was so easy to bypass, and he was a big part of that, in my opinion.
I think he controlled a lot of the games last season.
About
2/3 of the way through last season, I think there was about 5 or 6 games where he was consistently the best player. on the pitch.
Yeah,
And
on
we
the
also
ball,
we almost
on
got
the
too
ball.
used to it as well.
On the ball though.
I think even off the ball, there
He was
were
better,
times when
but
he
I
was
still think he was still left us wanting a bit.
definitely the beginning part of the season. Well, he didn't come in. When did he come in? It was like it took him a while to sort of come in, didn't it?
Yeah, he come in. I don't know, like 2-3 months into the
Yeah,
season.
and it took him a while to sort of get going. But I actually thought his work rate off the ball was actually not as bad as people were saying.
Even if his work rate was good off the ball, he was still easily bypassed too much.
What do you mean by bypassed?
As in, he wasn't strong enough in the challenge. People were getting past him way too easily for a guy of his physical presence.
Yeah, he just sort of like he bobbles around a little bit.
That's the problem.
That's him. He just, and then when the sort of the ball gets like shifted out to the other wing, he sort of, you know, and it's sort of like he bumbles over there a little bit, you know.
And that's in his good moments as well.
That's almost yeah. Yeah, he does that a little bit even in his good moments. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
he's just not an explosive player though, is he?
Well, he can be though. That's the thing. He can be.
Well, off the ball.
I think with we haven't seen it in a Spurs shirt where off the ball he's been like that kind of midfielder where he goes hunting in packs with all our players. But that's what he needs to do if he wants to make it in this team.
He's almost like a kind of a FIFA street footballer, isn't he? That's the problem with him. Yeah. So I don't know if Conte can actually get him playing, then that's going to be huge for us.
I think he will. We got some super chats here. Dark Sun G saying Conte's press conferences are always music to my ears. I mean, how do you kind of compare his press conferences to Nuno's and Mason's and Jose's? And
I don't know. I just think they all kind of say. They never really push the boat out with what they're saying. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like there's a slight politician's edge to some of their answers. I thought the last bit about Endon Bailey was the most insightful, and also about what he was talking about, how the whole club has to pull together. I just with him, I feel when I listen to him, I feel like I'm in safe hands. Whereas I think some of the managers in the past I've listened to and I've gone like, really? Are you sure? I feel like no, that's not the right. You know, I don't agree with that. But when I shut up and listen when I hear him talk, and I feel like. It's almost like there's a captain. We've finally got a captain of our ship who I don't feel like we're sinking anymore. I have that I don't know if you have that feeling.
I do have that feeling. But, you know, it's a results-driven business, and let's see how the results
Let's see how we get on, yeah.
Another super chat from Lloyd Savine saying, greetings from Stuttgart. What do you think about starting a Spotify podcast? Love listening to you lot whilst I'm doing something else at the same time. So does that mean you don't like looking at us or something? Is that what it is? You don't like looking at us, you just want to hear us. Fair enough. Nah, but we
did talk about that, didn't you?
Yeah, we've spoken about it before, so maybe we'll put that plan into action. But let's start getting on some of our guests.
You might not recognise the following.
Yeah, exactly. We've got Modi Kak coming on next.
Cody Mack's younger brother.
How you doing, Cody? All right, mate?
Yeah, I'm all right, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, all good, all good. Loving the nice little fresh trim you got over there.
Yeah, I'm feeling very fast at the moment, let's say.
It feels weird, doesn't it? When you've had a beard and you cut it off, it just feels as like your chin shrunk. Like,
you know what? I do actually suffer from something I like to call ghost beard, where like I've just been finding myself stroking the air underneath my chin. You know what I mean? Like it's like when you lose a limb and you get ghost paint. You know. But yeah. Yeah, but it was a quick way to lose a little bit of weight, that's for sure.
Was there any reason why it came off? Like, was there like was it some sporting result or something didn't go your way? Because you were kind of like saying it for a while, weren't you? If this result goes my way, I'll cut it off. But then you're like, no,
he was just looking for an excuse to cut it off, I think.
Yeah, it just came off.
Let's just say I wanted to avoid a divorce. My wife's not the biggest fan.
Okay.
Fair enough, Cody. But on the game this weekend, how are you looking at going into this game, and what kind of problems do you think Leeds can pose for us this weekend?
Well, I think for us, it's the type of game that if we want to be a serious club and finish in the top six, you know, we absolutely have to get 3 points. There's no doubt about it. You know, Conte's first Premier League match at home, and place should be rocking. Leeds have been a little bit off the boil this year, although they've been turning it around a little bit. But they do have some key injuries. You know, no Bamford, no Luke Ayling, no Robin Cook. But I think that Leeds, like most clubs, kind of are going to present a problem for us in the midfield. I feel like that's our weakness. And you know, the last 2 Premier League games, they've had a midfield of Stuart Dallas, Click, and Phillips. And I mean, if we could swap midfields with them, I would do it in a heartbeat, because we're not only are we looking at a midfield that's going to be absent, Skippy's going to be absent due to that red card. Højbjerg is coming off a little bit of a knock, although I expect him to play. And then Lo Celso picked up a knock on international duty. We're probably looking at, if he's going to go with a 3-4-3, we're probably looking at Højbjerg and Ndombele. And I don't know exactly how functioning that midfield is going to be. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. But, we have to win. There's no doubt. These are the kind of games that we absolutely cannot lose, and that's a little bit of pressure on the players. But with the international break under their belts and Conte kind of getting both feet on the ground now, I look for us to play well. And I mean, for God's sake, a shot on goal, please.
Exactly, yeah. That's been bad, isn't it, so far this season? Do you think there's going to be an instant reaction, like a kind of an instant Conte effect, or do you still think it's going to take time? And what are you hoping to see on the pitch that's different to the weeks gone by?
Well, I think in the first two games against Vitesse and Everton, you could see that even though it had only been a matter of days, that there was an impact. I thought the players looked a lot more organized in possession. There was a lot more movement. They were supporting one another in possession, and they were playing for each other a little bit more. Vitesse, you could just tell that the players were fat, because after about half an hour, they weren't able to run anymore, and the Vitesse players kind of took the game over. But in the Everton game, you could see we were kind of building that stamina a little bit, and it was a feisty game. And for me, we need to... That final pass needs to be so much better, and we just need to be at least testing the goalkeeper. Mesli's been quite good for Leeds this year, but he is a little bit of a butterfingers kind of goalkeeper. He tends to drop the ball quite a bit. So it's important that I think that we not only get shots on target, but get lots of them. I would look for us to pepper them if we can.
Yeah, you mentioned Tanguy Ndombele before starting in the midfield. I mean, very interesting comments from, I was about to say Nuno, from Conte in his press conference, talking about that Ndombele needs to work a lot harder than his teammates to work into this team. I mean, does that tell you that he's going to start, or what do you take from Conte's press conference comments on Ndombele?
Well, it's just about... Ndombele is one of those players, it's difficult to figure out. He's a little bit of an enigma, and has been under each and every manager. His best spell came under Jose, and then when Jose got the sack, he was basically put on the back burner. And it's hard to know what's going on between the ears, because only Tanguy and Ndombele knows that. But if Conte can press the right button to motivate this player, because you know what, we would all love, as Spurs fans, for every player to be self-motivating, want to play with pride, want to play with heart, work as hard as they can to be the best individual player that they can be, to try and strive to be the best player in the world at their position. But the reality is, these are human beings, and every human being is motivated differently. Some players are motivated by money, some players are motivated by fame, some players are motivated by success and trophies. I just don't think that the Tottenham hierarchy and the managers that have been here in the past have been able to figure out what it is that makes Ndombele tick. So, it'll be interesting. I don't know if what Conte's comment means is that he's alluding to the fact that he won't start, because maybe Ndombele has not shown him enough so far in his short term here at Tottenham so far. But at the same time, our options are a little bit limited. And if you look at the way that we've played this season, a player like Tanguy, if he's playing at peak levels, is you could almost say he's a little bit of a key to unlocking that final pass. He has the capability, he has the quality, he has the ability to make that through ball that's going to find a player in open space in a position to take a shot on net. So I would like to see Tanguy start personally, but if he's not showing Conte enough in training, then I would assume that he would be on the bench to begin.
And if he is on the bench, the only other option is really Harry Winks. And how much would that worry you, seeing him come up against that Leeds midfield you mentioned before?
Yeah, I'd be very worried. I mean, I think Harry Winks probably gets a little bit more stick than he deserves as a player. Um, I think he's almost in the same category as Ben Davies in that they're just limited in the way that in what they can bring. Um, there's some people who think that Winks has been played out of position for a long time now. You know, coming up through the academy, apparently he was a much more attacking player. Stelios, Coach Stel, credit to him for pointing that out. I don't know for sure, but I think Winks could be a player that could fit well into a Conte system, one that's more possession based. You know, Winks never really did fit under Jose Mourinho in terms of, you know, he's just not a very strong physical defender. You know, he's not the kind of player who can put in a hard tackle and do it on a consistent basis without getting booked. So if we're going to play a style of play that sees us possess the ball a little bit more, Winks could fit. He really could. But yeah, I mean, you can understand. I think as fans, we're starting to get tired of this same old story of like Winks and Dele and Ndombele all getting their next chance under the next manager. But if Conte wants to give players a chance, you know, we have to support him. That's for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's like the Groundhog Day scenario. We were talking about this off air. You know, these players, they get the clocks reset all the time. We Ndombele does and Winks does, you know. But it seems as though a manager will have their, you know, get a bit fed up with Winks, and then he'll get the sack, and then the new manager will like start playing him again, and then it will take him a year to figure it out. But then the manager will go again, and you know, and we seem to be stuck on this sort of groundhog loop, like existential sort of time loop, don't we?
Yeah, it's like when you have a revolving door. I mean, look, Ndombele, if you think about it, this is the fifth manager that he's played under. That's pretty difficult circumstances. You know, it's never really a good thing to be recycling managers like the way that we have since Pochettino was sacked. But yeah, I mean, part of me wants to see Winks get out there just so that, you know, at some point in the game, Conte comes out and grabs him by the ear and drags him around and says, "This is what you're doing." You know, like I think we're all kind of fed up with the way that this group of players have performed, and especially the way that they've kind of not kept themselves physically fit and thrown managers under the bus both on and off the pitch in terms of, you know, going to the media and leaking these little details that kind of lead us down the road. It's like a snowball effect. You know, it starts with, oh, we're not happy in training, and then it ends with the manager getting sacked. So I think that's why when you see a story like Conte banning ketchup and mayonnaise, basically all of Tottenham Spurs Twitter just like, yay, he banned ketchup. You know, we want to see these players ripped apart and put back together properly as professionals. Yeah. And let's hope that tomorrow or this weekend that we see a step in the right direction to that.
Brilliant.
Right. Cody, just before we let you go, what is your score prediction this weekend?
I'm going to say 2-0 to Spurs.
Come on.
Leeds, they've scored 11 goals in 11 games. Bamford is leading them with 2 goals, and he's out injured. I think the player that we need to be concerned with the most is Rafinha. I think I would look for Reguilon to be pocketing him because, let's face it, if Ben Davies is going to be starting in that left center back position, Reguilon's going to have to focus most of his energy on the defensive side of things. So hopefully we can put him in his place and keep it under control and keep a clean sheet. You know, Conte will want to be focused on that. And let's hope Harry Kane can bring some of his international form into the Premier League.
Yeah. All right, Cody. Always a pleasure to have that beard on screen, but no beard today. But no, I'm joking. Thanks for coming on, man, and we shall see you next time.
All right, guys. Glory, glory.
Come on.
See you, mate.
Love Cody. Absolute legend.
I like what you said. It's because of the wife. like that.
Well, if you want to talk about wives and wives getting angry, no one better than next one, Brian Daigle, with that lovely tattoo on his arm. What was the wife's reaction back home, Brian?
She doesn't mind it. She doesn't mind it, but I have to say you're backfiring all cylinders with your intros for me. That was a great segue into me. Yeah, no, she's not too bad with it at the moment. It's healed up nicely as well.
Nice. Give us a little peek.
Right. That's what I was wearing a jumper before, but I changed to a t-shirt just so it's easier to do this. See if I can get it. 1 second.
Love that.
There it is.
Absolutely love it. Masterpiece. That is a work of art.
There
If
you
anyone
go.
else
There-
wants
there,
to
we're still waiting for
make
Josh.
some Spurs related bets, anyone else?
Brian, do you want to join me on the Levy one that I did?
I've learned my lesson. I've learned my lesson. So no, I won't be joining.
Okay, fair enough.
When it comes to Levy, I ain't putting no more stupid bets on, especially one of that magnitude, because it may come through.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think Levy must be watching the streams, and anything Brian says, we must do the opposite.
Exactly. So yeah, so I won't be committing to any bets at the moment.
Yeah, but moving on to actual football, let's talk about the game this weekend. And when you look at the first two games under Conte, right, we've seen an improvement in the team structurally, and we've seen an improvement in the team just generally in their kind of momentum. When you've looked at the players that have gone on international break, all of them have seemed to perform. Is that part of the Conte effect, do you reckon?
I think it's got to be. I mean, I think if you look at it when the lads would have been going to international duty to whatever country they were representing, they must have been the butt of all jokes. They really must have been like, you don't run, you don't score, you're playing boring football, it's your ninth manager. And then obviously it was just not a good place to be in. And then they go with a spring in their steps and say, yeah, you want to talk now? Look who we've got. And it's got to have had an effect. It's got to have had an effect on these players. Like some people have been saying in the comments, Conte's going to make them play for the badge again.
Yeah.
He really is going to bring that badge to mean something again to the players. We know what it means to us, the fans, but for the players, it seems to have lost what it meant. And Conte will definitely rectify that.
Interesting.
Yeah, and how do you see this game going then? I mean, do you think there's going to be an instant reaction? I mean, you said, Ben was just saying that, there seems to be a little bit more structure, but do you think we're actually going to start, getting more chances, more shots on target?
Well, put it this way: before we knew who was injured, like Romero or whatever, I actually predicted a 5 or 6-1 to us.
Wow.
Because I think we're going to come back. Because I think there's no better team right now to play for us after 2 weeks of Conte having these players together than Leeds, who are just going to attack, and they don't change. Bielsa always keeps the same philosophy. So I just saw it being literally, we'll go full throttle. Now with these injuries, I'm going to bring it down to a 4-1. I really think it's going to have a huge. It's going to have a huge impact. I think Sunday is going to have it's going to be a great performance, a great performance.
When we're talking about players that can score goals, Harry Kane. I mean, we've spoke at length about Harry Kane throughout the season. Do those goals on international breaks show you signs of a player that's getting back to his best, or do you not read too much into it because of the opposition?
Listen, the opposition, you can't blame Harry Kane for scoring again. He can't help who he's playing against. But like Conte said, Conte wants to keep him up the top and just stay there, be the predator that you can be. And he's just gone and shown it. And if we're being honest, could you have thought of, for Harry to get 2 games under his belt and say, right, go fill your boots up? I don't think there's 2 games that could have come back to back that would have been better for him to have a bit of confidence and just smash a few goals in. And boy, did he.
Yeah, very true. Very true. But how are you kind of assessing Leeds this season? Because they were going all guns blazing last year. Everyone enjoyed watching them. This year, they have seemed to have fallen off the rails a bit. What do you put it down to?
So I said on Bob Spurs channel when we were doing like the preview before the season kicked in, I really felt that Leeds were going to have second season syndrome. I didn't think it would be like relegation, but I thought it would be more of a dogfight for them. And Bielsa does this, like what Poch did when his training philosophies are just so gruesome. And I think that's what they're suffering at the moment. They've got a lot of key injuries, and he keeps a very, very strict, or same team, doesn't he? If all 11 are fit, they play regardless. And I think it's coming back to bite them. So I honestly see them struggling all season. I don't think they get relegated, but I definitely see them struggling.
And so how do you see the complexion of the game going? Do you think we're going to get on top, quite early and then have a comfortable 90 minutes? Or do you think it's going to be a bit of a tennis match? Or, what do you reckon?
I think it's going to be like the Vitesse match that we did, John.
Oh, yeah.
I think we'll come out.
Absolute circus, wasn't it?
Oh, my God. That was an
You predicted one of those?
That was crazy. I'm literally obviously, I think we'll get off to a blinding start.
Yeah.
I think we'll get a shot on target within the first 5-10 minutes. That'll settle everyone down. And then I just think we'll go crazy for like half an hour. Then Leeds will come back into it. And then in the second half, we'll finish the job.
So
I really
everything
do.
that Conte didn't want us to do is going to happen, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I just see it being, I think the fitness of these players are going to be much, much better. He's had 2 weeks with them to understand his passages of play and everything. I just think it's going to be a performance that we all are going to get looking forward to see for the rest of Conte's era.
What's your opinion, Brian, on these Conte press conferences when you compare them to like previous managers, Nuno's, Mason, Jose? What do you make out of how he is in these press conferences and how much he gives away?
I put in the comments when you were playing it, how refreshing is it to see a manager with a smile on his face and talking, and the way he talks, you just want to, like John said, you just want to listen to every word he's saying. He has a smile on his face. He's communicating very, very well. And I'm loving every single second of every single press conference at the moment with him.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And you've given me your score prediction 4-1. Who's going to get the goals? I'm
going to go Kane hat-trick.
Oh,
I'm
come
going big.
on.
I'm going big, and I've been very, very harsh on Kane. I'm always man enough to say, listen, I'm not harsh on him. He just needs to do it regularly, and I think coming off those 2 games is really going to be the platform he needs if he stays where he needs to stay and doesn't try to drop too deep. And I'm going to go for the other 4. I'm going to go for Tanguy.
Tanguy. Do you think he's going to start after the comments made by Conte?
You know what, with Tanguy, I find this is always a very hard one to ask, because also I've said before that I think to start off with, till he's at the fitness or the level that Conte wants, or even with Nuno, I used to say I think he's better coming on with like 60 minutes gone because he's fresh and everyone else is tired, and just let him wreak havoc rather than having him on and then knowing you're going to have to make a sub in 60. So if he gives Winks the start, and do you know what, he may start with Winks. I think Winks is, if you look at all these players that we're talking about, Winks may be the one person that may do well under Conte out of these players that we're saying that are the deadwood and need to go. I've just got a feeling Conte might do something with it. I'm not saying I want it to, but I can see Harry Winks being given one last chance.
Yeah.
And if he can do it, then I'll back Conte. But I think he's going to start with Winks and then bring Dembele on. But that's what I would think.
All right, Brian, always a pleasure. We're missing you here in the studio. And hopefully we'll get to see you in person very soon.
Let's hope so, mate. Let's hope so. Have a great weekend to you two. Love spending time with you and everyone else in the chat. And I'll leave as always. First of all, Shabbat Shalom, Ben, and every Jewish person in the chat. And as always, leave you out.
See you later, Brian. Absolute legend.
Character.
Nigel Gates with the super chat saying Ndombele alongside Højbjerg in midfield to attack. And there was another one here somewhere from The Truth Sets Free. A big up The Truth Sets Free. And he says, the truth is here. You can all relax now. Love to all. Everywhere we go. God bless. I love that guy.
He's got a character as well, isn't he?
He is. And another character. Let's bring on another character in Jack Kinecki, Flat Cap Euro.
Is this a cheeky Christmas cardie, is it?
It's actually, no. I got it from a secondhand kind of vintage store long time ago back in high school days. So, honestly, I can't even remember where I got it. It's like Goodwill is what they call it over here. Still fits, yeah. It clearly shows, but probably doesn't fit as much down here in the stomach region. I would tell you that.
At least the camera stops there, so you're all right.
Right, the camera's a chest up.
Just before we get into the game, I want to talk to you about one of your streams on Twitch that I was watching, the only one that I've actually tuned into. And it was one of the greatest viewings I've ever seen. It really was. If anyone hasn't watched their Twitch channel, you've got to go over and see it. And it was a game that you and David were playing against PSG. And I promise you probably know which one I'm talking about.
I mean, we've lost to PSG too many times, so you're going to have to remind me.
PSG. But David was coming out with some classic lines. He was like, oh, your mother should have swallowed you and all this kind of stuff. And I was literally...
It's not for the faint of heart,
cracking up laughing watching it, and I was like, I got to play these guys. I just have to play these guys.
Yeah, especially when we're kind of out of form, I'll tell you that, because we haven't been playing as much. So it might be the best time to take us down, I'll tell you that. But, I would say, those Twitch streams, they're definitely after dark. They're definitely after dark kind of content. It's definitely maybe when David and I probably are at our nastiest, at our most profane, as well. So especially on my side as well. I mean, David obviously makes me still look like a nice schoolboy at the end of the day, but seriously, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's maybe not for the faint of heart, I'll tell you that. But it's good to see that you enjoy it. It's good to see other people seem to enjoy it. But yeah, maybe it'll come out tonight. Who knows? Depending on what's going on. But yeah, I appreciate that, Ben. Thank you.
Can you explain what that's about? Is that about FIFA?
Yeah. So
it's like
David,
can you just translate it?
David
for
and
us?
Jack have a Twitch channel and they play FIFA on it against people online.
Oh right, okay,
Yeah,
now,
we're doing one of those. We need to, I think, move over to Ultimate Team though. I think in order to do co-op with you guys, because I think you can't do like friendlies or something like that 2-on-2. But we'll figure it out.
We can still play with each other outside of Ultimate Team. It doesn't,
Right. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, David and I are trying to do that push to Division 1 and kind of that co-op, kind of season Spurs only. So we do get a bit triggered sometimes when you play PSG about 4 times in a row, definitely.
But on the game this weekend, how confident are you going into it?
I feel like I'm confident that we're going to get the win, but the whole, I can't really see a 4-1, a 5-1, a 3-1 scoreline just because I feel like Leeds weirdly have not actually conceded too many goals this season, if I can remember correctly. They kind of continue to have these 1-1s, these 2-1 kind of defeats and whatnot. And I think the only team that destroyed them out of my memory is maybe Man United, I think at one point did. So
yeah,
it's kind of tough to imagine us maybe scoring a lot of goals, considering I believe we have scored the second fewest goals in the entire league so far. So I feel like maybe it might be a 2-1 or a 3-1 for me. Maybe a 3 would be absolutely spectacular, but yeah, I see this being a tighter game than maybe we would like.
3-1's not that. I'll take that.
Yeah,
we take that any day. I take a 1-0 still every day.
Yeah,
believe me, I'd ride 38
yeah.
1-0s in a row if we had to.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at their results this season so far, and pretty much every game they've played has been fairly tight in terms of the scoreline, apart from when they faced Liverpool and Man United, where they got beat 3-0 at home to Liverpool, and they got battered by Man U 5-1 at Old Trafford. So yeah, it could be a kind of tight game in terms of the scoreline, but I do
very
think
un-Leeds like when you think about it as well compared to last season, because last season you would pick that match if you wanted to see like a 7-goal thriller or something like that. You would pick Leeds, and it feels like that hasn't been the case for them this season. They kind of maybe have locked up shop a bit more. I don't really know what that is because they have so many different injuries with Luke Ayling. I think Pascal Stroik, whatever his name is, I think just came back into it. So I don't know what they've been doing over there, but clearly it's kind of the opposite of what we're used to with Leeds this season.
Jack, what's got to change in these games where we can actually start creating more chances and getting more shots off? Like, what do you think's got to happen collectively and individually for that to happen?
The biggest problem is just we really struggle at being able to have the midfield be linked to the attack. We don't really have many great ball carriers in the team, and of course, we might get onto the Tanguy thing a bit later, but it's seriously like it's just when Skippy and Højbjerg, as beautiful as they've been, as reliable as they've been, they're not really those kind of tempo setters, those kind of guys that control matches and can kind of dictate, the game and the ways that, we all know world class, kind of holding midfielders can. They're kind of more like two destroyers kind of next to each other. And I feel like they kind of almost in a way, are kind of being asked to do a bit too much. They're asked to be defensive, but they're also asked to carry the ball kind of out of deep areas and then carry it up to the attack. I feel like we just need to find somebody, and I don't know if we do have anybody apart from Gio and Tanguy to be able to carry the ball from the midfield up to the attack. I know Lucas Moura can do it when he drops deep, but then again, that's also asking a lot of Lucas when you think about it. It's just I feel like that's been the main issue, is just that link to the attack has just been really missing this season, and just being able to get the ball up the pitch. I mean, seriously, to this day, we could kill for a Moussa Dembele, I tell you that.
Oh, of course, yeah. I know how you feel about him. He's made it into some dream 11s of yours, hasn't he? What gives you confidence then that we are going to, let's say, win 3-1 or win this game if we're lacking in that creative part of the pitch in the central areas? Or do you think it's just going to be one of those where we bring on Tanguy and he might create something and be that water carrier?
It's a good question. If I were going to give that real prediction, I would probably go for 2-1 or 1-0 kind of when what it really needs to happen. I feel like the way that maybe we could it might find it a bit easier because Leeds at the end of the day, they do play a lot more open than other teams. So we probably just will naturally find, moments when we can easily just play through their defense. They might expose themselves, maybe in ways that other teams probably don't. Of course, they kind of play that just kind of full man marking kind of system where it's just kind of full, almost balls to the wall kind of, attack as well as defense. But maybe we just might find that moment where, who knows, maybe Harry Kane drops deep, pulls the center back out of position. You have Sonny playing in behind from him, maybe kind of classic last season kind of goal or kind of combination. That's how I could see us maybe getting a goal. At least I see Sonny or Harry Kane scoring tomorrow. And then also maybe even knows Lucas Moura, if someone, if it's man marking against Lucas Moura, that definitely is a good recipe because we all know Lucas absolutely skins guys for a living. So maybe that's how you probably go about it. It's maybe actually the best scenario for us, for a team that is kind of struggling to score goals, is the way that maybe Leeds at the end of the day do play football. It's not a low block. It's not, you know, Benitez kind of football. It's nearly the exact opposite of it. So maybe that could actually help us out, you know, especially while we're kind of struggling to create.
What's your opinion on the midfield situation? So let's say, for argument's sake, we'll play the same formation as we have done the first 2 games under Conte.
Yeah, the
with
3-4-3.
Yeah, with 2 midfielders. So he's alluded to in the press conference that Højbjerg is going to have a late fitness test, but he imagines he's going to make the game. So in the spot next to him, we're talking about Tanguy and Ndombele or probably Harry Winks. With the comments he's made in the press conference, first of all, what's your reaction to those comments? And second of all, who do you think does get that spot next to Højbjerg?
Nice kind of comments, honestly, regarding Tanguy. I feel like it's, you know, as much as I really enjoy Tanguy, he's absolutely spot on with that. I mean, Tanguy does play like an individual. He kind of just plays for himself out there when you kind of think about it. You know, he kind of just wants to, I think John kind of put it earlier, kind of just bumbles around the pitch, just kind of puts himself in, you know, spots that, you know, he wants to be in. He doesn't always just kind of plant himself in that number 10, you know, position in the middle of the park. He likes to just wander around, you know, kind of ask for the ball and then sometimes run away from the ball, you know, at moments when you need him to pick up the ball. He kind of does play like an individual and does play a bit selfish when you think about it. Not selfish in the way that, you know, he tries to, you know, go for goal or anything like that, but selfish in just how he wants to move about the pitch and whatnot. So I kind of see where he's coming from, Antonio Conte. Maybe that's just that kind of small dig at him, you know, just to make sure that, you know, Tanguy does realize that he is the coach, he is the boss, and things are going to have to change around here. But also is a bit concerning about that, though, is, you know, we were kind of told Tanguy is supposed to be in the best shape of his career at Spurs. You know, this was a great opportunity for him to be working over the international break with Antonio. You would think that Antonio would come out of that international break, you know, probably praising Tanguy, hopefully, but that seems to not exactly be the case. So it does kind of worry me slightly. And so I guess then with Ollie Skip being gone, and I guess Gio Lo Celso, am I correct? Is he going to be out for this one as well?
He's also having a late fitness test, but what the Premier League injury website thing is saying is that Højbjerg is 75% to make it and Lo Celso about 50%.
Yeah, so it seems like it might be the very interesting combination of Harry Winks and Højbjerg. The problem with that is that which one will be going forward, which one will be sitting deep, because I know maybe there's been some rumor that apparently Harry Winks was more of an attacking player coming out of the academy, but every time he's played, he likes to be the guy that likes to just sit really, really deep, just kind of pick up the ball from the center backs and, you know, kind of just sit in that very comfortable kind of holding midfield position and try to, you know, to a degree almost play like a Jorginho kind of like role, you know, back there. And you probably could see then Højbjerg having to be the guy to have to drive it forward again like the last few games, and that hasn't necessarily been the best for, I think, Højbjerg. So whichever one is going to drive out of the defense, out of the midfield, you know, it's definitely going to be an interesting question. It probably, you know, will be Højbjerg, but I feel like it should probably be Winks, because at the end of the day, Højbjerg, we all know, is a much better defender and much better destroyer, and definitely someone who you'd rather have back there protecting the defense than Harry Winks. But if Harry Winks was driving forward, who knows? Maybe he'll prove us wrong. That's why I'm a bit worried, is like we struggled already with Skip and Højbjerg together, you know, taking the ball out of the midfield, carrying the ball out of the midfield. And with Harry Winks and Højbjerg, it certainly will be an even worse situation to that. But maybe, you know, Harry Winks will find, you know, those progressive passes. Maybe he'll find players in ways that maybe Skip didn't before. That's being ridiculously hopeful, and I don't see that happening. But, you know, who knows? Who knows? But I think the big problem is the big problem for me is which one's going to be the guy that's driving forward. It's probably going to have to be Højbjerg again, and that's what, you know, worries me, because that hasn't gone too well so far.
Yeah, he's not really a water carrier, is he, Højbjerg? That's what I would say about him. He's very combative. He's all over the pitch sometimes, and I think sometimes because he's all over the pitch, he sort of spreads himself a bit too thinly, doesn't he?
What do you guys think of like this theory? I kind of understand that Højbjerg, he's not really, you know, he's had a bad, you know, couple of games, you know, he's a bit out of form, but I think the issue is that we're kind of just asking him to basically be the perfect midfielder at the moment. We're asking him to be that destroyer. We're asking him to be that tempo setter, that kind of guy that controls games. Then we're asking him also to carry the ball up the pitch. I mean, we're basically asking him to be the perfect midfielder, the whole, you know, all action box to box midfielder, as well as a destroyer. It seems like, you know, as much as we all love Højbjerg, especially me, I feel like it's not really, you know, it's just asking a bit too much of him, you know, and there are only so many midfielders in the world that can even do that. So when you kind of think about it that way, maybe that's why he's kind of fallen out of form a bit, maybe an inside theory. And so I think with Skippy, you know, Skippy's been, you know, playing, you know, also very well, but he's playing in a bit more of a comfortable position for him, which is kind of that destroyer, just kind of the last kind of man to be able to protect the defense, kind of just sit there. And, you know, maybe that's where Højbjerg should be. When you think about it, it really should just be a rotation between Højbjerg and Skippy probably in that role. And then we need to find somebody who can be that guy who can carry the ball out of the midfield. But at the moment, we're asking Højbjerg to do it, which I think is a bit unfair to him.
Yeah, I think that's spot on, to be fair. I think that's spot on. I think that it should only be one of Højbjerg or Skip in the side at the same time. And I think we need to find that midfield partner that slots in next to him. I think Lo Celso potentially could have been the guy driving out from midfield, but you know, he's got his injury problems. But personally, I would love it to be Ndombele, but he needs to get a lot more structure to his game. If he
take yourself back like 6 months ago, where everybody was basically saying the reason we wanted Skip back was because that would be someone that could relieve Højbjerg of his duties, you know, in that holding midfield role, in that destroyer role. We never probably were going to say, no, we want Højbjerg and Skip on the pitch at the same time. I don't think any of us were saying that. And that's what we've been dealing with this whole season, where, you know, none of them have been getting a rest. The whole reason we wanted Skippy back was to give Højbjerg a rest and to give Højbjerg also a bit of competition there. And that hasn't been the case, because I feel like every manager so far has seen them as sadly the best, you know, combo, because the rest of our midfield is so unreliable. So it's kind of just a sad scenario, if you ask me, where we're kind of asking one of them to do too much, and then the other one gets to play in their more comfortable position. But that, I think 6 months ago, 7 months ago, we all didn't think that that was going to be the case.
All right, Jack, what did you say? You said 2-1, 3-1?
I'm going to go 1-0. I think it's a 1-0 probably for this one.
3-1, 2-1, 1. The confidence.
3-2-1, boys. 3-2-1.
Yeah, I know,
Who's going to get the goal? Versatile. I think it's got to be Sonny and a Harry Kane assist. I think their Leeds are going to expose themselves at one moment. Harry Kane drops back, kind of like, you know, from last season, and then he just plays a slip through ball between the lanes, or, you know, through the channels to Sonny. Sonny puts it away. I see a 1-0 just because Antonio Conte, I think he will probably still keep getting the clean sheets in the Premier League, at least for the time being, and we'll get that 1-0 win. Love to see a 2-0, but every time I've done that, I feel like it's the kiss of death.
All right, Jack. Always a pleasure speaking to you, my friend, and we'll see you soon.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs. A few super chats to get through. Brian Daigle says, I forgot to say, everyone going to the Leeds game, go check out the La Royale bar for pre-game drinks, free entrance with former Spurs players there as well. You know the La Royale bar, don't you? The Truth Sets Free with a super chat saying, Brian Daigle Keane, the man with the armband. Love that. The Truth Sets Free with another super chat saying, Ben and Sim are geniuses. They created my passion for Spurs 2 years ago. I love Sim and miss him this week. Thinking of you, Sim. How nice is that? How nice is that? And Truth Sets Free, here's another one saying, John is a genius with a brilliant mind too.
He thought, I just forgot John. I'll just stick him on at the end. Appreciate it anyway, though, Truth.
All right. We haven't heard from Charlie in a long time. Long time, Charlie. Let's bring him on.
The original protester.
Exactly. Me, John, and Charlie were the original ones going down there the day the Super League was announced. Charlie
was there.
How you doing, man?
Yeah, all good, guys. Good to be back on. Been a while, as you said. I've been watching the videos, so I haven't gone anywhere really. But I'm happy to be back on.
Yeah, it's great to have you back on, and big game this weekend. How are you feeling coming into it? Have you got a bit of positivity and confidence about you?
Well, that Romero injury put me down a lot yesterday, because as we all know, he's just miles above any other centre back we've got. It's literally that simple. He is an elite. He's going to be an elite defender in years to come. I'm sure of that. It's a shame that he's out, and
Charlie?
Kind of three clowns, if you want to share, as Dyer and Davies, which I think, for me personally, it's just it just feels like a recipe for disaster in a way. But having said that, hopefully with Conte now, that players can kind of maybe players that we don't expect can kind of up their game a bit, maybe, whether that's to kind of put themselves in the shop window, or to maybe even force their way into Conte's plans for the long term. I don't know, but we just got to hope that, obviously, Lo Celso out as well. We've just got to hope that whoever comes in tomorrow, that they can get the job done. I don't think it will be as straightforward as people are saying. I think Leeds have it recently. I think they have got a bit better in their last couple of games. So I don't think this will be as easy as people say. But I'm hoping with Conte that there's kind of a reaction. He's had the whole international break to work with the players that haven't gone. So yeah, hopefully they step up their game and we can get off to a good start at home in the Premier League, because we really need those points at the moment. The form we've been on. I know this is before Conte with Nuno and stuff, but just the recent games that we've played, we haven't won in a while. So we do need the points in this game.
Do you think it's going to be quite a structured game, like quite balanced and quite polished, or do you think it's going to be quite explosive and more of an FA Cup style game?
I don't know. I feel like maybe a bit explosive, because I think that I can see them scoring. I can see them scoring with the back three that we might have to play. But I can see us, with the way Leeds like to play, I can see us getting a bit of joy in behind and stuff. They like to just go attack. I can see us exploiting that in a way. Hopefully Harry Kane can finally step up his game after the couple of hat-tricks he scored over the break. So yeah, I can see us getting a few goals in this game. I can see us maybe finally us starting to create chances more, because that's just been incredibly frustrating really this season, just the way we've just had an inability to create chances. So I'm hoping that in this game that will change. And let's be honest, like we all know our squad, it definitely needs a lot of work, but I'm sorry, like we shouldn't be creating zero chances. I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense to me. So hopefully that changes on Sunday.
It's actually interesting to listen to Conte, because in his conference there he was saying that he was actually quite pleased with the talent of the squad, and it seemed as though he was quite happy with what he got to work with. I didn't get the impression as though he was sort of like, there's a lot of work to be done, where you might have heard that from Jose, a year ago, sort of like, sort of covering up his job a little bit. But he seems to feel pretty confident about the players that he's got. Do you think he's right in the way that he's portraying that, or do you think there actually is deeper issues here and he knows that deep down?
Well, I think that you have to, if you look at it on both sides, I think one side of it shows that Conte is an elite manager. He's definitely in the top 5 in the world for me. And if anyone's going to kind of make them better, then it's going to be him. But then on the flip side, you look at it, there's been Pochettino, Mourinho, two really top managers, and certain players have just been completely just flat out, to be honest. And for me, I think there are issues in there which I don't think Conte can solve, but I think he can definitely make us better than we have been for the majority of this season, to be honest, because I don't think we're bad to the point where we're level on goals with like Norwich or something this season. I really don't think it's that bad, but I do think that yes, there is a lot of improvements to make and a lot of deadwood to get out, that's for sure.
You spoke about the international break before, Harry Kane scoring back-to-back hat-tricks there, but a lot of the Spurs players seem to perform over the international break. Matt Doherty pocketing Cristiano Ronaldo, Steven Bergwijn sending his country to the World Cup. There were a lot of cases of these Spurs players performing in the international break, which we haven't seen this season. The first 2 international breaks, the Spurs players were pretty much a no-show on even Harry Kane. So, I mean, what do you put that down to? Do you think that's a bit of a Conte effect, or do you not read too much of what the Spurs players doing out on international break?
I guess it's the no ketchup, isn't it? In all seriousness, I'm not sure really. I think if you look at Harry Kane, the teams that he scored against, Albania and San Marino, it's kind of, on one side you can say that these are kind of teams which, like for example, he scored a hat-trick against Mura for Tottenham, so it's a kind of similar level to that, you could say. But on the flip side, I thought some of his goals were really good finishes, regardless of the opposition. I think that, to be honest with Kane, I think the best way for it to go at the moment is him to just score goals, no matter who he's playing against with England, because let's be honest, you don't want him coming back. You'd rather have him coming back with goals than no goals, no matter who it's against. That's kind of how I see it with him. And then you look at Matt Doherty. He was actually pretty good for Ireland. I watched that game and I was quite surprised, to be honest, with that one.
Was he doing a lot of runs, like down the right? Was he marauding down the right, or what was the performance like?
He was playing at right wing back. He was pretty good. I wouldn't say he was like unbelievable, but I thought he was quite solid. To be fair, definitely more solid than I've ever seen him for Spurs. to be honest. But when you look at as well Bergwijn, who never scores any goals for us, who personally I've been getting incredibly frustrated about and losing patience with, he scores a good goal. So I'm hoping that gives him some
Great
kind of
assist as
confidence.
well.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I saw that. I thought that one he could have gone for it himself, but it is what it is. He got a goal and an assist, so still pretty good stuff there. So yeah, I mean, fingers crossed that it's not kind of like a blinded, kind of like a false sort of thing, and hopefully they bring that form back into club football.
Definitely, we can all hope anyway. Fingers crossed. But what's your score prediction going into it?
Score prediction. I'm going to go 3-2. I think it will be similar. I think obviously same score as that crazy Vitesse game. I can see us taking the lead. I can see us going into a good start. Then I can see them coming back into it, and then us getting the 2-goal cushion, and then them getting a late one back. I can kind of see it like that, kind of a back and forth one where you don't know what every so often you kind of don't know what's going to happen. So I can see it being 3-2. Obviously, we know the game last season, I believe. It was 3-0 at home, I think. And in that game, that was obviously with Mourinho, we kind of picked them off. We picked our moments in that game, if I can remember. We kind of let them kind of come at us, and then they left a lot of space in that, and we picked them off and beat them. In the end, that was a comfortable win. So hopefully something similar. Obviously, no Bamford for them, and which could be a big miss. Obviously, Rafinha, he looks a player for sure. Rodrigo, who gets called up for Spain still. So they've got some decent players, and you can't underestimate a Bielsa team, because on their day they can turn up and they can give anyone a game. But I do expect us to get the win with the way they've been this season. They've been a lot slower, I feel, than last season. Last season, when I watched them, they were very fast in everything they did, their build up, their passing. I feel like they've just slowed down a lot this season. Everything's just a bit slower with them. So I'm hoping that we can exploit that and come away with the win, because we really need it for sure.
All right. Big up, Charlie. Thanks a lot for coming on, my friend, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Come on, you Spurs. Super chat here from The Truth Sets Free saying, my lovely Spurs family, our midfield is weak, our attack is thin. Have faith. Conte is a legend of epic proportions. We are getting a trophy by 2024. Patience is a virtue because Conte is at the wheel. Loving that. And The Truth Sets Free with yet another super chat, and he says, like and subscribe to my other favourite channel, Irish Hotspur and Jack Kinecki. Must watch for Spurs fans in my opinion, and John's pool channel I'm buzzing for. Big up, and you know, you can already see the beginnings of the workings on John's pool channel if you go and subscribe to that. Absolutely brilliant channel. Another one from Truth Sets Free that I missed actually. It says, John, they are twins, had to shout you out separately. Well, John just popped off there for a second, so he's not hearing all this, but I'll be sure to repeat it when he gets back in. But let's go on to our next guest, Alexandra. How you doing, Alex?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you perfectly. How are you?
Perfect. I'm fine. What about you?
Yeah.
By the way, is Sim all right?
Say it again?
Is Sim all right?
Yeah, Sim's fine. Sim's fine.
Fine.
He's just got a bit of an illness, but he'll be back next week, hopefully. Hopefully early next week he'll be back. So don't you worry about that.
Yeah.
But how are you feeling coming into this game? You confident?
Yeah. Actually, I am. I followed the players from in the international break. It's like everyone looking like prime Zidane. I'm pretty sure the homework he gave Conte. I didn't know Conte a lot, but I think he's like so attached to the players. He might just FaceTime them and stuff. I don't know. Something happened because everyone was looking good.
So do you put their good performances on in an international break down to Conte?
What else can you put it to? You know what I mean? Because I don't know. It's not a coincidence, I think. It's just a shame about Romero. I love him. Actually, I had such a laugh in the Aston Villa game because he's like in the Aston Villa's goal. I was laughing so much 30 seconds before the goal because it just wipes out someone. I think it was Ings or maybe the other one. He just wipes him out.
Watkins was it?
It was so funny, and then they score. I stopped laughing, but yeah, Sonny kept that for us. But yeah. By the way, I wanted to ask you something. I bought a Tottenham shirt from the Spurs official shop quite a year ago. Now I'm trying to find Romero's one or anything. It's just why is it that every single merchandise kits and stuff, there's only at yes as what how can I
The
say?
small. Only the small.
Yeah. I want the M one. You know
You
what
want
I
the
mean?
medium.
Yeah, it's not available and never is. I don't know if you know any other way to get it from
maybe you can
other
look
countries.
at maybe you can look at different shops, you know, Sports Direct and all these kind of places. Maybe they'll have it, but I won't be able to tell you because I haven't looked at the Spurs store in about 2 years, so I don't know.
I've looked it up. It said like replica and stuff like that. I don't want that. You know what I mean? But yeah,
It's the same thing. It's the same thing from the Spurs shop as it is from Sports Direct. It'll be exactly the same.
all right. Thanks.
No problem
the
at
info.
all. But wait, let me just leave this with you because I just need to sort something out in the back.
I don't know what you were talking about.
We just spoke about international.
Have you given a prediction yet on the game?
No, you cannot. A game versus Leeds, it's hard to predict. But I predict Tottenham to win. Score 2-1 maybe. It's hard.
So you still think it's going to be tough then? You don't have this feeling as though we're really going to sort of break free and suddenly start playing again like properly?
I mean, we are kind of again international break. We come back fucked up, kind of because. It's like Lo Celso doesn't seem to be fit. Well, Skippy was already unavailable. And I just think I have a feeling we might have to play with Delhi.
Oh, you think Delhi's going to start, do you?
It really depends what happened indoors during these last few weeks, but he might.
Do you think he's a player? Do you think he's a player that actually Conte can do something with? Do you think he's sort of malleable? Do you think there's still a lot that can come from Delhi with a manager like Conte, or do you sort of think what we've seen enough from Delhi to know that maybe there can't be much more improvement from what we've seen recently?
Delhi is kind of one of the reasons I started supporting Spurs. Because I like from 3 to 4 years ago. That double header he scored against Chelsea. I happened to watch it on the highlights, and I got so goosebumped with feel good factor when he scores before the halftime and goes to the crowd, and crowd is so respectful that just. If it was with my hometown club, he would be without shirt.
Ripped apart. Yeah.
It was really.
Do you know what?
I got a crush.
You got a crush
at that time. Yeah.
Do you know what?
And Delhi. Just want to say about Delhi. It's just that then I watched highlights on YouTube, and he looked like on the highlights. He looks like Prime Zidane, but from what I learned about you guys, it's that he doesn't offer much during games. Apparently, so I don't know.
Do you know what? It's funny when you hear these Spurs fans like supporting Spurs during like the Poch era. I almost feel a little bit kind of sad. It's almost like I'm feeling, oh God, what did you get yourself in for? It's like when you're in with Spurs, it's like you're in for the long run. It's like it's like you learn a lot about yourself. It's like deep therapy at the end of the day. Going through the pain. So when I hear these people, like fans like yourself, joining, quite recently, I'm like, get ready for the ride. Get ready for the ride. Yeah.
My hometown club is it's pretty worse. It's the one where Marcus Edwards plays.
Right.
What are they called? Yeah. How's he doing now?
Yeah, how's he doing?
The guy, I just watched his Messi. Just
so Poch was right. Poch was right.
Yeah, the guy is really good. The big clubs from Portugal are looking at him, and I saw a statistic recently came up in my feed saying he's from some international statistic football observatory. He's the fourth most successful dribbler in the world.
Wow.
Mm.
That's mad. That's mad. Maybe,
Yeah,
maybe we can get him back.
No, it's you can't. You can't. He's not fit to Premier League because he's too short. That's the only issue.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and Alexandra, what's your score prediction?
He's gone. Yeah.
Oh, you gave it already?
I gave it already. Say it again.
2-1.
2-1. All right. As long as we get 3 points, that's all I care about this week.
Me too.
Great call, mate. And thanks for coming on. And we'll see you soon, my friend.
A pleasure, man. Thank you very much for the shift you put in.
Thank you, man. Thank you. See you
Bye.
soon. See you.
Oh, Marcus Edwards.
Marcus Edwards.
Do you know, I was quite sad when he was
Yeah,
released.
me as well. Me as well.
You know, why couldn't we have just given him more of a go?
Yeah. I completely, but you
There's
know
been
what?
quite a few players we've let go of. You know, I feel like it's wasted talent.
But you know what? Poch always came out and spoke quite positively about him, called him a mini Messi and all this
So
kind
play
of
him.
stuff. So his mentality, his mentality wasn't right.
Yeah,
at
but
the
just
end
at
of
least
the day.
give him a chance on the pitch, you know?
Yeah. But if you're not showing the application in training, then what right do you have to be on the pitch?
Well, Ndombele gets a chance, doesn't he? But there's a lot of players like that. Brian, if you're listening, we might do like a wasted talent 11 or something like that, because there's a few, like at Tarapt or something. There's quite a few.
Tarapt, man. When Tarapt first came on in that game against West Ham, we won 4-3. I literally thought we'd had like the next Ballon d'Or winner in our team.
The new Zidane.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's what we were thinking at the time, yeah.
All right, let's go on to our next guest, and that is Mikey. Hi, Mikey. How's it going, mate?
Hey, how are you? It's my first time on here, and I just wanted to say that I've been watching We Are Tottenham TV for about a year now. Ever since the first time I watched it was a couple of years back. It was your reaction to the game against Fulham when Nkudu crossed it in for, of all people, Winks to head it in.
Oh God,
I remember that.
It's crazy thinking about that now, doesn't it?
I've been following it, and it's been an absolute like whirlwind of a season. And I came on because I wanted to say that I have the idea that if we hadn't have sacked Nuno when we did, I think it was. I know a lot of people have come out and said that it was a win for It was a win for us, even though we lost 3-0 because we got rid of Nuno and then brought in Conte. And I think the ambition from Levy. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. Levy is as unpopular as ever now because he's. And I wouldn't be surprised if he followed in Chelsea's footsteps and increased season tickets to about £5,000 a pop because that's the kind of person he is.
5,000 Chelsea have increased it to, have they?
No, I think it was like it was an exaggeration. I think they've increased it from 1,000 to 3,500 or something.
Bloody hell!
Absolutely crazy. But it's not like they need any more money. But I think that the game against Leeds is going to be a turning point for us. I don't think we're going to win 6-1 like the guy said earlier. I think it will be a closely run affair. I think it might be like the test game. I'm not going to lie to you because we have Christian Romero out, who's top 5 centre backs in the league. I thoroughly believe that.
Wow.
But if we end up playing Sanchez, Dyer, and Ben Davis, we're going to have some defensive fragilities which is when you need people like Højbjerg and Skip to step up. But because we've got Skip out suspended, if we play someone like Harry Winks, or I think your nickname is SpongeBob SquarePass, which I quite like. I think that we're not going to have the impetus that we need. Gio would be perfect for this game. If you have Højbjerg sitting back a little bit, I think if Gio, without his injury, he would be perfect to sort of run at Calvin Phillips and keep him busy so that Phillips doesn't have the ability to dictate the game, switching balls out to Harrison and Rafinha on their wings. Sorry, I know you lot probably asked the questions. It's just my first time on here, so I'm quite
Go
excited.
for it, man. No, go. You're doing a good job. We're just sitting back and enjoying, man.
You're doing a great job.
You.
Go on.
But yeah, I think Rafinha will cause Reguilon problems, and he's going to skin Ben Davis multiple times because Reguilon likes to get forward, and Ben Davis is no match for a winger of that caliber. So he's like the major threat that we have to deal with. But on Højbjerg's midfield partner, I'd love for it to be Gio, but he's 50%, so I probably want it to be Tanguy. But in a midfield 2, Tanguy slides better in a midfield 3 when he has Skip and Højbjerg behind it. But obviously, Conte doesn't play that kind of system. So I hope that we play Ndombele and Højbjerg, but he won't. So I think it'll be Winks and Højbjerg starting with the front 3 of Kane, Moura, and Son, which I would I would love to see be set free finally without having to, because Lucas Moura does a lot of defensive duties as well because our defense isn't good enough. He runs up and down all the time and sort of leaves Kane and Son up front exposed. And even Son does defending, and Kane's always marking the front post at corners. But I think our attacking impetus needs to be improved, and Tanguy is the person to do that. But then with our midfield situation, he can't start alongside Højbjerg only because he's just not at that level defensively to cover if Højbjerg gets overrun. That's what I have to say.
How do you assess Leeds and what they've been like this season? Because obviously they were one of the standout teams last year in terms of the way they played their football. But how do you assess that they've been this season?
I remember watching when Leeds won the championship title. Was it 18-19 or no?
2 seasons ago, I think it was. Yeah.
When Leeds won the championship title, they played amazingly for like the first 7 months, and then the last 2 months there was what you called Bielsa burnout when they played at such a high consistent level. And then the last 2 months they had already wrapped up the title, so they could afford to drop points, but they were dropping points in games they really shouldn't have been. So I think it's almost a burnout for Leeds. They were playing at such high intense levels last year. It got them into the top half of the table, and now you see them sitting in 15th with only 2 or 3 wins to their name, albeit with close margins. You still see them faltering. So I think if you want to, if you wanted to say Conte fully fit 11 minus Skip, like get out there, I wouldn't pick Leeds because they can cause people any problems. You probably pick Norwich in that regard, but I think we'll still win. It'll just be closer than some optimistic Spurs fans think. That's no dig at them, obviously. we're all yids at the end of the day, but I still think that there's Conte's job, like the newspapers were saying, to be a stepping stone to Poch. I don't think if that is going to be the case, then I think that's disrespectful to the man of Conte's character. Because while I adored Poch, I became in love with the club in the Redknapp Bale era. Then I kind of lost it through Sherwood and Villas-Boas or whoever was the manager then.
Yeah.
And then when Poch came in, I sort of renewed my love for the club, watching the way he played. And if Poch was to come back with any manager other than maybe a Conte, Klopp or Guardiola, I'd happily say be a stepping stone and bring back Poch. But the manager we've got now, if he was to be a stepping stone for Poch, I think that's incredibly disrespectful to a man with his CV compared to Pochettino's. No offense to Poch.
I don't think that it's a stepping stone to Pochettino. I don't think that's what they're saying. But I think that what they're alluding to is that Conte doesn't stay anywhere that long historically.
You're not wrong.
So what they're saying, I think, is that if Conte does do what he does at other clubs and leaves after 2-3 seasons, then Poch will be the viable option to come in next at the end of his PSG contract.
Well, I have one of my girlfriend is a PSG fan, and she constantly tells me that she would love Poch to go back to Tottenham and have Tuchel back at PSG because she thinks that like the way they play would be suitable for them. But I won't lie to you, for the Leeds game especially, I'm quietly confident, but whenever I've started to, I live in Twickenham in South London, so I'm very much outnumbered by Spurs fans to Arsenal and Chelsea. The ratio is me, and then everyone else is Arsenal and Chelsea fans, so I have to deal with a lot of slack from them.
Sorry to hear, Mikey. Sorry to hear.
Whenever Tottenham lose. So whenever I've come out and said, yes, we're actually going to win, we're going to make some ground, and then we lose a game or we falter just at that critical moment when we can push on, there's always something about Tottenham that stops us from reaching that level that I hate to say it, but a Chelsea or a Man United, well, not Man United, I mean Man City can reach. And under Conte, if we can fix that mentality, if we can just win that one trophy that they've been hungry for so many years, I think it will genuinely push us on and we can establish ourselves as a top 4 force in England again. We just need that one thing to go our way, just once. And I thought it would be the League Cup last year, but if we faced anyone except Man City, and then obviously the wonderful decision to sack Mourinho before a cup final was, and that's when I knew that this club had, with the Super League fiasco as well, these owners had absolutely no idea what direction the club was going in. If it was a downward trajectory, surely you pack up, sell up and leave it to someone else. But no, he thinks it's a money-making machine just to, no matter what trajectory it goes, he will always be able to extort some level of financial aid from it.
Yeah, yeah, pretty spot on. But just before, do you want to say something?
No, Mikey, that's his first call, mate. Absolutely brilliant. I just want to say, great insights. Great comments. Yeah, you'll have to come on again.
Yeah, definitely, really good call. But before we let you go, what's your score prediction?
I'm predicting either.
No, there's no evers. Definites.
You gotta, call it.
Okay, I'm predicting a 3-1.
3-1 win.
With Leeds equalising, and I think the scorers will be Kane, and I predict Lucas Moura to have a good game. I predict 2 for Lucas Moura, 1 for Kane.
Wow, that's one for the more sexuals out there, isn't
Mikey
it?
knows, man. Mikey knows.
Big up, Mikey.
When we had the Ajax game, I had my green shirt. I wanted to get it printed with more 27, but they stopped printing the shirts by then, so I couldn't get one. But I love Lucas Moura to bits. He's one of my favourite Tottenham players just for the work he does and the pace he has.
Mikey, tell Ben why Moura is underappreciated, because he doesn't seem to see what we see. Tell him.
That's not true. That's not true at all.
I think if we were to have like a really good front three, I think Lucas Moura would probably be the one to be replaced. But I wouldn't want to replace him because he does the stuff that allows Kane and Son to flourish. I think a lot of his work goes unnoticed because he's not end product. He's almost like Thiago was at Bayern Munich. He's the guy before the end product, like the assist, if you like. I think that's what he does.
You've been listening to too much John Cooper, mate.
He knows. He sees.
I do my best.
No, I'm joking, Mikey. Great
well done,
call,
Mikey.
Thanks for coming on. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Cheers, mate.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, mate.
Mikey Morasexual.
Mikey Morasexual. One for the Morasexual clan. And let's get on our last caller of the day, and we save the best till last, and that is the Irish Hotspur.
The original Don Corleone.
The original Don Corleone. But Dave, what's going on with your FIFA streams against PSG, man?
Lad, it's really pissed me off. I'm not going to lie, lad. Honestly, I felt like throwing my controller through the screen, only that I realised, before I'd done it, that I'd be the one replacing it, so it didn't really make sense to do. But what really annoys me? All these guys picking PSG on FIFA, I don't understand why you do it. They're probably sitting next to each other, high-fiving each other, jacking each other off anyway. Why didn't you pick PSG? It's a joke.
What's your opinions on people wasting time when they're PSG?
Do you know what? That's even worse. That's genuinely, the mother should have swallowed. Let's be honest. It should just be like, how can I breed these? How can I breed these people on planet Earth? Wasting time with PSG. It's just disgusting behaviour. It truly is. The father must have been wearing a knitted condom or something like that.
Where are you getting all these from? These lines.
Too much, Dave. But look, we got a game to talk about this weekend. International break is over. All the Spurs players seem to really perform on international break. Even your guy, Matt Doherty, pocketing Cristiano Ronaldo. First of all, talk to me about Matt Doherty, because I didn't see him, but a lot of people saying that he played very well.
Yeah, look, he played all right, It wasn't anything special, To be fair, he did have a goal disallowed in the Portugal game. That should have been allowed, to be fair. I thought he scored the winner. I couldn't believe it, but no, it was ruled out for, I actually don't know what. Maybe one of our players breathed on the keeper or something like that. It was absolutely ridiculous. But being honest, he had a decent enough international break, but still not Premier League standard.
Fair enough. Yeah. But on the other, guys that have been out on international break, Steven Bergwijn, brilliant performance for Holland. Harry Kane, 7 goals for England. Heung-min Son getting on the score sheet, albeit from the penalty spot. What do you put all these good performances down to? Do you not read too much into it, or is it the Conte effect?
Look, it's the no fizzy pop, the no pizza, no ketchup, no mayo. Honestly, I'm thinking about cutting out myself, lads. If that's the sort of results you get, honestly, I could be playing for Tottenham next year.
Get yourself on the Conte diet, Dave.
No, I think I have to. I think I need one of his bodyguards around here, like he's doing with Ndombele, guarding my presses at night. You know what I mean? But no, look, Conte's obviously worked with them. Hopefully, he's given them a bit of confidence with the Everton and Vitesse game, and hopefully, then they've kind of gone into the international break with a bit of renewed optimism. And look, let's see where it takes us. I think we're in for a good time between now and Christmas.
Yeah, definitely.
What are you predicting then from now until Christmas? Like, what do you expect to see? Do you think we're going to start, creating a lot more chances, getting a lot more shots off, getting a lot more, high-scoring games? Or do you see the team sort of settling, remaining quite settled, being more defensive, maybe keeping more clean sheets?
all depends how long Romero's out for, to be honest with you. I think
Yep.
it would be the terms of clean sheets and maybe high scoring games. But look, we're going to unleash goals on one team very, very shortly. It's coming. Look, Harry Kane will be back to his best. Son will be back to his best. Lucas Moura will start, chipping in as well, which would be absolutely brilliant. I'm telling you, we're going to unleash on a couple of teams over this next 4 or 5 games. I can feel it. I really can. Look, come Christmas Day, I expect to be pouring the gravy over my turkey, sitting there inside top 4, and giving the big finger to my sister's fella who's a Liverpool fan. You know what I mean? So that's the hope.
Yeah, and on the game this weekend, how much confidence you are taking into this Leeds game this weekend?
Nah, look, I'm very confident. Look, they're wannabe Tottenhams. They are, they wear the white as well. They brought in an Argentinian manager to bring them to the next level as well. And I don't know what it is, but at Leeds United, they seem to like man buns down there as well. Maybe Danny Kiriaku's down there doing the hair. You know what I mean? No, look, we should be beating Leeds, to be fair. We bet them 3-0 at home. I think last season, the away one with Dyer at the back, that was a catastrophe. But we were going through some sort of managers and stuff like that. But no, look, with Leeds, I do think with Romero being out, if we play Sanchez, Dyer and Davies, I do believe we can be got at. But at the end of the day, it's the other end, which is a major problem. And I think, we will score goals versus Leeds. They're going to leave gaps at the back. They will leave spaces for us to exploit. And no better people than Harry Kane and Son.
Yeah, with the Leeds danger man in Rafinha, is there anyone else on that pitch for Leeds that really strikes danger for you?
No, I think Bam Bam's back up front, isn't he?
No, he's still injured.
He's still injured. Oh, poor Bam Bam. So he's still out. So, you've got Harrison, players like that. Nah, look, I'm not really too fearful. Rafinha would be the only one. If Rafinha can get at Dyer or he can run at Davies, a bit of concern for me. He's direct. He has a good finish on him as well, quick feet. Apart from that, I'll be honest with you, I'm not really worried about any other Leeds player.
Good way to think about it.
Tottenham Hotspur, look, I know the season has been bad, but we have to go through a period at some stage, and there's no better period than now. Leeds, Burnley, Brighton, who else have we got there? Norwich, you know what I mean? A run of games that we really should be winning over the next 5 games. Brentford as well, I think. So we should be winning all 5 of them games, really, and we should be in inside top 4 come middle of December, really.
What do you think for the end of the season? Where do you think what's realistic for us? Yeah, and cups as well.
Don't ask him; he'll say the treble.
Yeah, you'll have to get a tattoo on your bum as well. Then
I won't be suckered into one of them, that's for sure. But no, look, do you know what? I think we can get top 4. It's open there if we want. Look, so many teams are taking points off each other, but that all depends on getting that right ball playing midfielder in January. If we don't get that, we can forget about top 4. You're still going to see the inconsistencies that we've been seeing. Look, I honestly believe there's no reason why we can't win the Carabao Cup, and there's no reason why we can't be the Conference League champions. Why not? You know what I mean? Throw in another Audi Cup in the summer after that. Brilliant.
Yeah, definitely.
Another Audi Cup. Yeah, the glory days.
The glory days are coming back. The Audi Cup and the Cocoa Puffs League coming back to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But in terms of the personnel that we're going to play, I mean, he alluded in his press conference that Højbjerg will play. Who's going to be his midfield partner? Because he made some interesting comments about Ndombele, and the only other option is Winks. So how are you feeling about his midfield partner coming into this one?
Look, I was raging when I seen Skip was suspended. I honestly believe it will be Harry Winks. But look, a few people might fall off the chair when I say this. He played okay in the 3-0 win at home last season. You know what I mean? So look, hopefully he can step in. It is only Leeds. These are the games he should be able to come in and play sort of football. Do I think he's going to be the link man, that footballer, that ball playing midfielder we need? I don't think so, to be honest with you. But look, hopefully he can come in and do a job. And look, if he's not working, then you can take him off and bring on Ndombele and see what he has to offer. Do you know what? I still believe whether it's Ndombele, whether it's Winks, whether he throws in a surprise and throws Ali in there, it's still about just, whoever performs on the day. I still think it's just like winning the lottery. You know what I mean? But look, if Winks is in there, it should be more than enough.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah,
agree.
No, I think you're right. I mean, if we're dominating the ball and like Leeds are camped out in their own half, I actually think Winks is okay. He can actually tempo set in those examples. It's just when we're on the back foot and he's sort of like trying to pick a pass. Sometimes he can be a little bit overly cautious. Under pressure, I worry about Winks. But I think if we got control of the game, I actually think that he can actually do a very good job. Yeah.
if Winks does play though, control of the game is key, because if we do not have that control of the game, you're going to see this about 5 times. Winks standing 10 yards away from a player, pointing at someone to go out, someone else to come over and take the ball off him and tackle him. Look, this is Winks' chance. He's been crying, he's been moaning. You know what I mean? This is his chance now. No excuses.
Yeah.
If he plays Sunday, that's his chance. If he doesn't take it after that, I don't want to hear anymore, I need a run of games or anything like that. This is your chance. Take it. If not, I'm sorry, but it's bye-bye. But the thing is, look, the danger of putting Winks in there, we see it time and time again. If once he gets the ball, he's gonna be the pinpoint for a press. He will be. They're going to pinpoint him. They're going to maybe get 1 or 2 players to swarm him and try and take the ball off him. That's my only concerns about it, because he will get his pocket picked. You know, if Bielsa's smart, he might even throw an extra man in midfield, you know, to kind of get at Winks and not give him any time whatsoever. And that way they can control the game. So Harry Winks will have to be at it from minute 1, and we'll have to start our dominance from minute 1.
And finally, what is your score prediction?
You know what? I don't want to upset Mikey. I don't want to be too deluded, you know. But look, you know, I'll keep Mikey happy. I'll go with a 3-1 Tottenham. I'll take a 3-1. I'm going to go Harry Kane with a brace and Son with 1. Why not? Harry Kane, return of the big H. You know, form is only temporary, John. Class is permanent.
Return of the Mac.
100%. All right, and pre-match pump-up. We're back on it this weekend, aren't we, Dave?
Yes, we are. Look, I do apologise to all you guys out there who were sitting there with the crash helmets, you know, on your head before the last game. Look, you know, it was the birthday. I was 30, looking 23. I had to go out for a meal. And, you know, the mom and dad wanted to sit there with their favourite son or their only son and have a meal and whatever. So I had to do that duty cause. I felt bad, but do not worry. I'm going to be back tenfold. I've had a rest. I'm absolutely renewed optimism, renewed confidence, renewed energy as well. So look, we're going to take these pump-ups to the next level. Right from here, all the way throughout the end of the season, we're going to keep smashing it every game, and the results are going to come as well. I just want to say to all the Tottenham fans out there, thank you so much for sticking with me, Ben and Sim, and John, who was doing the watch-alongs and that as well, throughout the hard times. I know it was getting hard to take, but the good times are back, baby. Let's have it. The Conte Express. Choo-choo.
And that's
Come
why,
on, Dave.
That's why he does the pump-ups, everyone. No, that's the reason.
Big up, Dave. Look forward to seeing you on Sunday, and we'll see you Sunday, mate.
See you Sunday. Come on, you Spurs. Let's
Come
fucking have
on.
it. Back in the big time, baby.
Come on, baby. That was basically like a pump up in itself.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go. Just clip that up.
Everyone wished David Harris a massive, happy 30th birthday for a couple of weeks ago.
Did he say I'm 30,
Absolute
looking
legend.
23?
I think
Did
he
you hear
said.
him say that?
I don't know if he said looking 23 or looking 33.
I thought he said
I'm not
turn
sure.
33,
I'm not
looking
sure what he
23.
said.
I thought he said.
Nasser Al Qadi with the super chat saying, "I don't think there'll be another good English keeper for Spurs since Ian Walker. No disrespect to Paul Robinson, who wasn't bad. I mean, Robinson was levels above Ian Walker.
Ian Walker was atrocious. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he was rubbish." There was a few other super chats here. There's quite a few here. Truth Sets Free saying, "John, you went to the loo when I sent you a super chat."
Oh, right. Sorry
he
about
sent
that.
Quite a few. And the Truth Sets Free with another super chat saying, "Irish Hotspur and Jack know me personally now. No irony that I'm from the Irish Jewish family and my uncle's name is David Harris." Okay. And Leighton Evelyn saying, "Ask yourself, David, if Man United had our squad, would you say they could make top 4? Maybe if they had our manager, I would say
What
that.
was Truth Sets Free super chat to me before that?
He was just showing his love to you, really.
Okay, all right. I love you too.
And Truth Sets Free with another super chat here saying, "Irish Hotspur for president." Everyone vote for him. Everyone vote. But that is the end of another pre-match fan show. Really good callers today, as always. Thank you, John, for coming and joining me today.
And get well soon. Everyone in the comment section, give Sim some love and support. Hopefully he's on the mend. He'll be back next week, right?
Yeah, let's hope so. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Catch the match preview and predicted lineup coming on the channel tomorrow. But that is all from us today. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.